Fantano talks about Doechii and the hate that she's getting. Let's go.
My anxiety. We got to talk about this Doechii song. Miss Doechii, rapper, singer, songwriter extraordinaire, one of the biggest and most promising artists right now on the legendary Top Dog Entertainment hip-hop label. I have talked about her on my YouTube channels a handful of times, going back a few years, in fact, way before this recent blow-up, and I have said numerous times, I feel like this person has a lot of potential.
You know, it never fails. Honestly, like, it never fails. Like, somebody, an artist who was underground, who was grinding, who's putting the work in, who had like this very core following of people and fans that like truly loved and appreciated what they were doing. And then they kind of get their big break. They get a song that breaks through. And the next thing you know, next thing you never fails. All that love, all that admiration, all that success they almost seem to get overnight, even though it took years upon years to get it. Quickly, without fail, quickly turns into unbridled hate, and for no reason. Like, there's no real reason behind why you'd hate a certain artist just because they're successful. But watching people become successful really bugs certain people and certain individuals to a point where it's like, why do you care so much? Oh, it's because they're successful. Oh, because they're doing well. Like, all right, like, it never fails. It's like the story as old as time. They love you until you win a little bit too much. You know, once you win, they want to see you win, just not too much.
Clearly a good lyricist, clearly a talented individual, and it's been great just kind of watching her grow in popularity, especially with hard-hitting, authentic hip-hop tracks like Denial is a River doing as well commercially as they are. That,
like, I mean, we're gonna get to it, but the thing about the hate that Doechii gets, it's kind of mind-blowing to me, is because for years and years, people were complaining like, yo, we need real hip hop. We need real lyricism. We need real people. Like, we need the essence of rap to come back. And there's one thing I can say about her, even though I don't think personally the album Alligator Never Heal or Scar, no, whatever, the album was not album of the year in terms of rap for last year. But I can't deny that when it came to bringing back the feel, the essence, the core of hip hop and rap, and what, you know, what true hip hop purists and heads want to hear from their artists, she was doing that. She was literally doing that. Like, her love for 90s hip hop, for early 2000s hip hop, and just the culture was on full display. And for like those same people who are clamoring or crying about wanting real hip hop back to turn around and hate on this project because it won album of the year or because it's successful is lame as hell.
And many other tracks off of her recent Alligator Bites Never Heal mixtape has led to a lot of praise, a lot of accolades, a lot of great feature placements. Doechii is in demand and definitely one of the most buzzed about artists right now in mainstream music. There's a real thirst for all things Doechii out there right now. So, of course, like most mainstream projects out there today, she saw fit to release a deluxe edition of this recent Alligator Bites mixtape. Why not? The question is, though, what to add to it. What Doechii and the label decided was to drop this track called Anxiety, which apparently is a cut that she has been sitting on since like 2019, originally placed onto YouTube back when obviously she was more obscure and still working on her craft and still on the come up. Like, the fact that this track is doing so well and gaining so much attention right now, and it's like 6 years old about, is crazy. So yeah, that's how old the song is. And before I get into what people don't,
I mean, that's also the weird thing about social media, is that a song like this that, you know, back in the day would have been a loosey, a throwaway. If you weren't a fan, you probably didn't hear it. If you were a fan, you heard it and cool, whatever. Next, it's just a loose single. The fact that on social media it can blow up as fast as it did and go as viral and spread as widespread as it did, because I wasn't aware of this song, and I'm like kind of in the know. I was not aware of this song, but then once I started hearing it, everybody's reel, everybody TikTok, everybody's whatever post they're doing, it was the background song for. It's insane how quickly that can happen, because if this happened in 2000s, like, this would have just been a loosey that only a few people that in the know that actually like go searching for new music from these artists would actually be aware of. So like, I kind of understand why people think like, oh, she's getting forced in everybody's face. No, that's just literally what social media is these days. All social media does is latch onto whatever's viral, whatever's popping, and then force feeds it to you over and over again until you say, enough, I'm sick of this shit.
Like about it, let me just say from the outset, this is exactly the kind of song that labels and rights holders just love to release. It's a new single with a chorus that has a lot of pop crossover appeal from a hit artist, and it also relies on a big sample or interpolation from another very popular song, in this case, GOTYE, somebody that I used to know. Because if a track like that hits, you're potentially getting the attention of new listeners, of fans of the old song. Plus, I imagine for some artists, it like really streamlines the writing process to entirely base a huge chunk of your song off of another song. But yeah, you guys are in tune with new releases and everything like that. You know, labels love releasing tracks like that these days. This DOECHIE song just happens to fit within that formula. However, when I first heard it, I liked it. Yeah,
I mean, it's perfect. It's a perfect song to kind of cross over, to kind of spread your wings once again. Obviously, you gave them the real kind of hip hop 90s storytelling shit that you know, audiences, especially this generation, wasn't used to, which is why it stood out so much from the crowd and what was being promoted and what was being nominated, is because you were kind of going back in your bag of like the 90s, 2000s hip hop. But then you also have versatility. One thing about you is that you can sing. You got more genres that you can touch onto. You got an R&B hit. You got to have a legitimate R&B hit before you like really started to pop. So then like, obviously you have other facets of your game and your ability and whatever. So to show that off, of course, like it makes sense. Go back to the song that you did 6 years ago. Why create something? Why do something new again when you already have this in the tuck? Let's just promote this. It shows off a different side. Yes, it reaches a different audience. Yes, people that are like, who's DOECHIE? Like, okay, like, oh, she makes this kind of music too. Like, it's textbook kind of label and an industry kind of playbook, because that's what you want to do. You want to reach other audiences. Once you kind of break through with your style and whatever, you want to expand. And obviously, she had this perfectly ready and teed up. So it makes sense. It makes sense why this came out at the time it did.
I mean, honestly, like my first reaction to the track was not negative, not even by a long shot. Okay. I messed with that. I messed with it. Her singing on it's great.
Oh, her voice is amazing on it.
Her singing on it's really fucking good.
Gorgeous.
I loved her bars on it. I loved the lyrical focus. I thought the singing was great. Yes, it's literally the instrumental. Yes, she didn't do anything to it. But to me, this it just feels like kind of like a mixtape kind of vibe.
Exactly. Mixtape kind of vibe is the exact definition. Like, I understand there's whole generations, almost 2-3 generations now, that did not grow up with the hip hop mixtape generation, a wave that we did in the early 2000s, late 90s, even the kind of like the early 2010s, because there was a time and point where every artist, every artist in hip hop, every mainstream big artist in hip hop, I'm just gonna say every hip hop artist out there was dropping mixtapes. They were taking people's songs and not even like reinterpreting it or resampling it or touching up the product. No, they took the beat and then put a whole new song on it, their whole new take, unofficial remix, and put it out for the masses. Like, this is not new. This is not new. This maybe for these current generations, this is new, but this is not new. This has been going on since the late 90s, at least, where you hop on somebody's beat and make your own. Lil Wayne, Mixtape Wayne made a whole run out of doing just that. So when I heard this, I was like, oh, cool. Like, this is a mixtape song. Like, oh, he's trying to touch back in with the culture once again. So like, I never really understood why people were freaking out so much about it. Like, oh, he just took her beat. Yes, that's what you used to do in hip hop. That was the norm. When you used to get mixtape between albums, it wouldn't even be of original material. It'd be hopping on to somebody else's song and doing something else with it. Either it worked or it didn't, but who cares? You were just putting out content. So I did not understand why people were freaking out so much.
Just feels like a Lil Wayne mixtape. I'm going to just like spin circles around somebody else's beat and just leave it at that. I did have some close friends express that they couldn't really get past the fact that the GOTYE sample is like so prominent in the song and it's not varied up in any significant way and so on and so forth, which I do get on some level if you're really married to that track and it feels weird to kind of hear that song.
Again, one of the biggest problems about why hip hop is so big, so mainstream, so cross genre, people getting into it that don't even understand the culture of hip hop and what it's been built on over the years, the many years now to this point, over the past 50 years of how it became to this point. Yes, it is open. Yes, people from all walks of life listen to hip hop now. But if you are going to get into the space, at least try to understand the cultural norms of the genre. That's all. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
An instrumental in a different context with Doechii rapping and singing on it. I mean, when I have heard the track kind of played organically out and about in the world, it does feel like a little bit of a bait and switch because, you know, somebody that I used to know is a song that gets played in a lot of places publicly. And now these days, when I hear that intro, I don't quite know whether or not I'm going to be listening to GOTYE or Doechii. I know for sure there are probably some listeners who are a little aggravated by that unmet expectation. But yeah, again, I liked the track. In my opinion, is it like a top 3, top 5 cut off of Alligator Bites Never Heal? No. The song is fine. The verses are solid. And yet again, Doechii proves herself to be as good a singer as she is a rapper. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be a song that would appeal to everybody, but I just did not really foresee the insanely viral and polarizing reactions that this song has been gaining over the past few weeks. And it's really been reaching a boiling point to where I can't really go anywhere on social media without stumbling across some person tweeting about how much they hate the song. Thousands and thousands and thousands of likes and comments and engagements of people just echoing that same sentiment. And now the hate for this track has unfortunately like escalated to a point to where there's like social capital in publicly announcing that you don't like it. And if you say it's shit, there's tons of thoughtless drones that will like jump into the comments and be like, yeah, I think it sucks too. Even our favorite streamer on this channel, XQC, has come out as a Doechii anxiety hater, not only tweeting that this track is a terrible use of the original song, but going as far as to say Doechii's music itself is garbage on stream.
I don't like your music. It's the problem. I mean, I'm sure she's a good person.
Again, a corny loser, lame, talking about the culture. Who the fuck cares? He's a goofy.
I'm sure she does good stuff. I think it's fucking dog shit. Okay, I get it.
Hi, XQC.
It's the director of Black Panther, and it's black people, right? And I made a comment about the bad song that has a black person singing it. He thinks that it's all about people being black and not about the song being dog shit.
Which, like, considering this guy was on the side of Drake in the Kendrick Lamar beef, I'm not really sure he's much of an authority on that.
Bro, we're just talking about the beef itself, bro. From the public eye, Drake lost, so he lost. That's what it is.
No, he's not.
Again, he's a lame, goofy, streaming motherfucker who cares, who has no validity in the culture. Period.
How did Drake lose? Explain.
Kendrick objectively won. His diss song did better. His diss song went viral. His diss song was going crazy. Everybody was on Kendrick.
Okay, then I agree. Then Kendrick, he won the battle. But he lost the war.
But yeah, an unfortunate side effect of a song like this, getting as much hate as it is that morons such as XQC will come out of the woodwork to pretend they have music taste and valid reasons for disliking something, when honestly, you're just hating for clout. Take it from a professional hater. I know when people are doing that shit. With that being said, though, again, I understand why not everybody would be into this track, because maybe they don't want to hear that GOTYE song done in a different way. The song has also been charting well recently, too. It peaked at number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100, which has led to a lot of organic play out and about, has led to a lot of playlisting. So there is kind of an overplay and overexposure factor, I think, happening with this track. And while I do think the song is good,
duh. Duh. She's the next new hot artist, of course. That's the playbook. Again, like, this is nothing new. This has been going on in music forever. Like, an artist blows up, they get their first kind of major hit, major song. She's the indie darling, that the one that the little engine that could. She, despite all odds, she broke through. She did it. She became famous. She is the story. She's like the success story that everybody loves. What do industries? What do these giant companies? What do all these streaming platforms do? Oh, you like her? Look, here's a million times her, like, period. They flood the airways. Oversaturation of new artists and breakthrough artists happens every single freaking time. Sabrina Carpenter, every freaking time. Every freaking time. Chopper Marone, every time. It's there is a fine line and fine balance, but I mean, let's be real. Those artists don't have control over how much exposure they get. Like, there is a fine line. But if you're the one driving the money and I'm a business, I'm trying you out there as much as I can. This is nothing new.
It's not necessarily the type of track that I feel like warrants this amount of replay. The reason being DOECHI'S vocals and words on this track are so bold and thoughtful.
And let me be clear, I don't even like the song. When I heard the song, I didn't really like it. I thought it was like, oh, all right, like she remixed somebody I used to know. I love that song. I love the original. Like, yeah, she remixed it. Like, it's not terrible, but it's not one that I ever find myself like ever even thinking about it again or wanting to go back to. Like, so the fact that like him, like one Fantano, the vitriol, the backlash, the think pieces come out about it is fucking shocking, because the song in itself is fairly whatever, blase, throwaway, mixtape. Just in general, just a song that does not even like evoke any sort of strong emotion. So to see people like going out of their way to be angry and upset about it is kind of fucking crazy to me, because like this is the most boilerplate whatever kind of mixtape remix song ever. Like, wait until you hear Wiz Khalifa The Thrill. Like, this ain't nothing new. Artists and hip hop artists have been tapping into songs like this and remixing them for the longest time.
In your face that you can't really tune the topic of the track out like you can with most pop or rap songs in the mainstream these days. I mean, think about it. How many pop hits are out there today that you can basically vibe to in such a way to where you don't really need to confront what the inspiration for what the song is topically? Frankly, that's the vast majority of mainstream music. And DOECHI has somehow landed us with not just this, but multiple hits at this point where she's like really digging into listeners' heads and being like, this is what the song is about, and you're going to think about what the fucking song is about as I'm singing and rapping about it, which I think is something a lot of casual music fans aren't necessarily ready for all the time, especially when it comes to a topic such as anxiety, something that both people who do and don't struggle with it might not necessarily volunteer to want to listen to a song about. But outside of those characteristics, I have a really hard time rationalizing what it is exactly about this track that people just hate with their soul, with their heart. You could say lyrically it's too upfront and obvious, but like so many other tracks that are just as popular are and don't get nearly this much hate. Last night we let the liquor talk. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Or Tipsy, a bar song, which I think
Facts. Facts. I felt the same way about Tipsy. Like, I don't understand how you ain't got no hate for Tipsy when it's clearly just a country remix of one of the biggest party songs of the early 2000s, and if not hip hop in general. And like, you got all this hate for a harmless song like Anxiety is beyond me.
Comparatively is at least 2 or 3 times more annoying and a much worse and more novelty rehash of an original song, and culturally we've let that slide.
Facts. I feel, bro, me and him, we locked in. Like, we locked in. We feel the exact same fucking way. Like, when I heard bar song, I was like, bro, ain't this just Tipsy? Like, this is a watered down commercial country version of one of the greatest 2000 songs, early 2000 songs in hip hop, period. And we're like applauding this like as some original amazing fucking thing. Okay, I guess we're going with this. Oh, she remix Anxiety. Oh, this is the worst song you've ever heard. Like, what? Shit is fucking insane.
But we're having a total fucking meltdown over this song about anxiety from a rapper who is doing a thing that rappers do. They rap over things. They pick an instrumental, could be anything, a sample, a beat, or a song borrowed from somewhere else, and then they rap on that thing. Back in the day, that's what was so cool about like Lil Wayne. It was so sick, so cool. Peak of the mixtape era, that guy would rap over fucking anything. And for me, at least my read of this track when I first heard it was like, oh, DOECHI'S kind of doing that, but in a bit more of a pop context. She has her own verses, an own topic, an own direction in mind, and she's just kind of taking a very familiar instrumental and spinning the whole thing into a song of her own. And it is an actual legitimate focused song, not just some random freestyle, which for sure would also be cool, but she actually completed it into a tune of its own, which creatively speaking, I feel like is respectable. Again, I don't think everyone is going to like the song, nor should everyone like the song, but I just think the hate and negativity is a little outsized for something that honestly is, frankly, kind of innocent and just sitting there doing nothing. Like, they're way more toxic, harmful and ridiculous things musically going on in the music industry these days than this fucking song about anxiety. To tie this video up, I will say, I do have at least a few concerns about DOECHI'S career and this song moving forward from here, because the track is getting so popular and gaining so much viral spread, and clearly her and the label are leaning into that with the release of this latest music video, which I'm not as crazy about the video as I am the song, but that's another story. But yeah, I'm kind of afraid of two things. DOECHI has so much potential from here, and she's still gaining exposure and new fans, and I'm afraid that the hate behind this track, which, I mean, it's very loud and very annoying as I'm sure a lot of these people think the song is. Unfortunately, I imagine there are a lot of people who the hate for this track and this track, which might not necessarily be the best first introduction to DOECHI, is in fact serving as the first introduction to DOECHI. And I would hate to think that there are people who are going to be turned off to her and her music entirely from here forward just because of this one fucking song. On top of that, while I do think the song is cool and is interesting.
Well, that is a valid point. Like overexposure is a major concern for any artist or anybody that, like, any celebrity, any person of fame that kind of reaches that almost instant kind of success, as it seems to be with her, even though it literally took like 5 years for it to get to this point. But for most people, for the general public, this is overnight success. Overexposure is a very, very thin line between just the right amount to, I hate this, I'm tired of seeing you, I'm tired of hearing you, I don't want to hear or see anything else you have to do. Like, obviously people reach that point at different points for whatever reason, but with the virality and success of like social media and the reels and TikToks, like having a song get that viral as it is, where almost seemingly every fucking reel, every fucking TikTok has that song behind it. I watch most reels and whatever without sound in the first place, so I don't even really catch it. But the fact that it is that prevalent on those platforms and people are going to see these on a million videos every single day, yeah, that is a little bit of a concern, because you can't turn off a wide swath of people just from the simple fact that I'm tired of hearing you. I'm tired of hearing about you. I don't even know you. I didn't search for you. I didn't go looking for you, but you are always in my face. It feels disingenuous, and it can feel disingenuous. It can feel like somebody's pushing a button, which, you know, let's be real, they kind of are, and putting you out there in front of me on a ridiculous kind of basis. It's a concern, but it's not the biggest or worst concern to have as an artist. It's much worse and much harder to be underexposed and to not have any attention and not to be in front of people and to not be able to reap any of the rewards and monetary success from your work. So I'd rather be overexposed than underexposed any given day, but it is a very thin line that you have to walk. And hopefully she's kind of learning from this and thinking like, all right, maybe I can step back. Maybe I can like just get back in the studio and start working on some more music and whatever. And yes, like, you're going to turn some people off. It doesn't matter what you do. You're successful. You're out there. You're in the public. You're in the spotlight. You're just automatically going to turn off a certain demographic, certain kind of grouping of people. And there's nothing you can do. But I'm pretty sure she's probably gained way more followers or way more fans than she have ever lost just from this giant amount of exposure that she's kind of experiencing. But it is a thin line, and like, what her next move is going to be the most important move for her career going forward, because like he said, a lot of people seemingly, like, first experience is going to be with this song, and then of course they might go dig into some of her music later on and be like, oh, she does this too. But like, they have two different kind of audiences now, and like how you decide to kind of feed those next for your next kind of outing is going to be so important and so crucial. And like, that is the concern for any artist who has pretty much rookie first album, major debut success. How do you follow it up? The sophomore slump is real, because it is very hard to kind of repeat or even grow from the success that you had when you kind of first blew up in the first place. So it's not a concern or worry that is just to her specifically in this situation. It's the same concern you'd have for any artist entering like the next sophomore phase of their career. Like, how do you handle it? What direction do you go? Is your music going to resonate? Like, this is something that is always going to be a concern. But if one thing is going to be less concerned, is that they have TDE behind her. She has a very strong stable of artists and creators behind her that I think will make this work. But of course, you never really know in this industry. But the hate is it's way overblown, and I wouldn't be as concerned. I'd be more concerned if she wasn't getting this exposure for putting out, you know, the type of project that she did and like the music that she was putting out. So like the fact that she is getting this, I'll take overexposure over underexposure any type of day. And like, you just got to roll with the hate at some point. And like, the quickest way to shut up all the haters is to put out another banger. That's it, period. And then once you put that out, you're kind of undeniable at that point. So this next step is going to be super important for her.
And I'm glad that she did it and it saw the light of day. I feel like with the track being as old as it is, she creatively is in a far different place now at this point. I worry that the commercial success of this track will create pressure for her to go in this direction.
Hence why I said they have TDE behind her, and TDE don't chase trends. That's one thing you will say about them. They don't chase trend. They don't force their artists to do things necessarily just for commercial success. They kind of let them curate and create their own image and sound and direction that they want to go in. Like, look at SZA, look at Kendrick, look at like they do things in artist-centric, artist-first ways, which is one reason why I have less worry as if she was signed to somebody like an Atlantic.
And try to work out songs and song ideas that create a similar type of success, which I would absolutely hate. And I feel like a lot of music listeners would just like see coming from a mile away. And frankly, I think DOECHIE is too talented to try to rehash past successes. But again, in the age of streaming, there is always going to be pressure to make every single stupid thing you do scale. And I just hope that DOECHIE and her collaborators and the label don't fully give into that pressure going forward to when it does actually become like album time. Honestly, I did kind of breathe a sigh of relief when I saw that this track was just like being tagged onto the Alligator Bites mixtape and thankfully not saved for some future project or something like that. Yeah, with all that being said, I just find the hate and vitriol this song is seeing right now to be kind of insane, unwarranted given what it is. And on top of it, I know a lot of you guys are just posting how much you hate the song because it'll get you attention. Get a goddamn grip. That's all I'm going to say.
Hey, me and Metalhead, we locked in, bro. Like, we locked in. Like, we on the same page. Like, how can you be mad at this? This is literally mixtape hip hop to a fucking T. You take a popular song, you take a pop song, you take a rap song, you take an R&B song, and you fucking rap over it. You put out a song, you throw it out there to the masses. You see what it does, and whatever. You move on to the next. That is the ability of hip hop, that you can move at a fucking breakneck speed because you can hop on anything and put out a song and make a song from it and kind of transform it into your own way. You know how many times Wayne took somebody's song and turned it into his own? Like, come on, bro. Like, there's a whole fucking 10-year run of just mixtapes that people are more known for their mixtapes than they are their fucking albums. Fabulous. Wayne, Jeezy, like the amount of people that were putting out mixtapes that had bangers on there that were other people's bangers that became their bangers is endless. So the fact that like this new generation is just now getting a taste of this and then like freaking the fuck out about it is like mind blowing to me. But that's it for DOECHIE and all the hate that she's getting. Hopefully, you know, she just kind of like lets it slide off her back and move on to the next, because haters is just a part of it.